everyone. Welcome to the 30-Day Speaker Summit. We're just having so much fun, and that's why we're in such a great mood. My name is Daniel Francis. I am the host of the 30-Day Speaker Summit, and I have a wonderful guest, a Melanie Levenberg, all the way in Whistler, BC. And if this is one of your first interviews in the summit, this is called the 30-Day Speaker Summit, where what I do is I interview different speakers who have the gift of communication, the gift of being able, being your authentic self. And what I'm doing is I'm interviewing them so we can take those golden gems, those golden nuggets, and start applying this into your own life. So 30 days from now, you are a completely different communicator, speaker, and individual. So with that being said, let me introduce Mel. So Mel is an international speaker. She's an author and as well a TEDx presenter and business coach. She is the founder and CEO of Play International, a company whose program has gained global accolades for promoting positive mental health and has inspired over 1.8 million kids to get active through dance, yoga, and play. As the co-founder of Impact Entrepreneurs, she loves helping startup and established entrepreneurs create structures within their business to build wealth as they share their talents and passions in the world. Melanie is a master at helping her clients design programs, training systems that make a powerful impact while building a business empire that will leave a legacy. So she has a lot of knowledge and experience, and I'm super excited because she's super fun as well to talk about this idea. Mel, you're on the public speaking day, meaning that, what I really want to discuss with you is, you've obviously spoken on stages, TEDx stages where you had to go up there, you had to have a certain energy, a certain vigor, a certain playfulness to yourself to actually get your message across, where from what I understand, you got the audience up and moving, right? And, that isn't easy to do. So, in this interview specifically, we're going to be talking about finding the fun with public speaking and why that's so vital to just, overall being a great speaker as a whole. So Mel, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Honestly, this is such a pleasure and I'm so excited.
Awesome. So Mel, let's just kind of dive right into it. So what does play mean to you? Relating to public speaking. I mean, I've seen you on lives, I've seen you on videos where you're on stage. What does play mean to you and why is this so important with speaking?
Yeah, I think this is something that I really aimed to, it's something that I faced as a challenge in my own business, in my own life, in my own public speaking career. It's when I decided to take my message and start to share it out with the world. All of a sudden, all of these strange behaviors kept popping into my life. And I was like, I'm a really outgoing person. I have no problem talking to a group of, 5 or 6 people about what I love to do. Put me in front of a group of 30 people at a conference. I've got it. But then this notion of a stage, or this notion of like bigger than what my, would say, comfort zone was, just made me become a version of myself that I was like, what is this all about? Like nervousness and fear, and just like the way that my body physiologically reacted. And just like kind of like the thoughts that would pop in, that I even the thoughts, consciousness of it. And I just realized at one point that I was like, this has become so serious that it's no longer fun. It's like so play for me was, how can this experience that I'm so excited to step into and growing and, sharing the message, what if this was fun instead of this being serious? Like my whole life, I've been moving away from things that are serious, things that don't feel in alignment. Like I love having fun. I love being playful. I love building businesses in a way that you match professionalism and playfulness. And just like what play brings to our life is this version of ourselves that is, I think, greater than any other version of ourselves. We're present, we're creative, we're connected. And so play, as it relates to public speaking, was the rediscovery of play in a context that I had turned into something very serious, just because it meant something, so the power of play in public speaking to me is the key that unlocked that better version of myself stepping onto that stage, when all those other things had come up through my mind.
Yeah, like what you're doing is you're trading this fear, for example, to excitement.
Yeah.
And that's what that play is.
Yeah.
You're trading the two. And when you do that, I think a better version of you comes out of it.
Yeah.
Right. So let's kind of go back a couple of years. When did you make this transition? Were you always a playful person? Were you naturally a playful person? It's like this 8-year-old spirit within us. I'm sure, do you have to, yeah, like take us back to the older version of Mel to who she is right now in that transition?
That's a really good question. I do a lot of these, and you've never been asked that question. So that's a good question. I think I think most of us, when we look back at our childhood, can tap into a version of ourselves that was carefree, that was like fun, and that was, kind of just like whatever came up, we would just express it. And somewhere along the lines, whether it's like a person who told you to not be a certain way, or just like life, the seriousness, like going to school, social cliques, like all the rules we like learn, kind of it teaches us in a lot of ways to kind of just like dim down. I think I always had, I think everyone does have this inner playfulness. I think we all have different outlets and ways of expressing it, but I think every human has some joy that they get, some spark that makes them more alive when there is some sort of play in their life. For some people, it's like Sudoku, that's like their jam. Jess and I have been playing cards. Like, some people it's just like being witty and like the sarcasm. Like, there's so many different ways we can play people. It's not just like taking a ball and like, going playing games or playing sports. There's all kinds of ways to just tap into, like I said, that version of ourselves that is imaginative. I think when I was in university and the career path I was choosing was becoming a physical education teacher. And I did that. And in that in itself, you're like the fun teacher, So I think that really always fostered that spark. But when I left the teaching space and worked in the corporate world for a few years, that's when I really noticed that inner version of myself really getting squandered. And so when I, left the corporate world to go back into the world of education and teaching, and then becoming an entrepreneur, and the fact that it was based on play, I think it's not a fake it till you make it kind of thing. It was more just like permission that this is literally my business. I'm going to make a business off of teaching people how to play with movement, play with fitness, play with dance, play with yoga. And that has since extended into other areas. I get to do workshops with people, dental corporations. They bring me in as like the workshop leader, to like help people bring that sense of playfulness back into their lives. So I think, yes, I am a naturally playful person, but I think everyone has that. You just have to remember it to tap back into it.
But how about embarrassing yourself? I feel like you're big on this because, yeah, I feel like will embarrass. Like you laugh about it, but it's like I don't want to dance in front of like what the heck? And how do you
Well, it's a
respond?
powerful word. I think embarrassment is like a powerful word because I don't think we like to be embarrassed, but I love things that are awkward. Like I don't mind being an awkward person or awkward things happening. Like I don't like being in an awkward situation, like rolls off my back. My wife Jess, who's also part of the summit, does not like being in an awkward situation. she's like, don't bring awkwardness into our situation. But I think embarrassment is a self-projected experience. Like you're willing to embarrass yourself, like dance in front of people. I'm like, that's not even in the realm of my consideration, because to me, I don't associate dancing in front of people as embarrassing. There's other things I'm sure could be embarrassing. But I think that, yeah, what like that feeling of embarrassment probably comes from your own self and your own perceived ability to do something and how people are going to receive it. And when it comes to public speaking, that's a big thing. You're stepping onto a stage and you have that perception and wonder how people are going to receive this. And it can have that sense of embarrassment or whatever. I just don't associate, speaking or dancing as embarrassing things.
Well, it compares to public speaking. It compares to business in general, that you're just being authentically you, and you're just like,
Yeah.
it's like that sense of like not caring of what other people think
Yeah.
is very powerful. So let's actually go back to that TEDx talk that you gave, or when you got everyone up and dancing. How was that? Because I feel like were there people in the audience? I don't know if you saw at the time, but I feel like you have to, like, it's your job to shift the energy of the whole room.
It
So,
is. I
so
was, yeah.
break us down that I guess preparation, or what you did, or how you felt the room, and how you really got everyone moving.
Can I first say that I was brought in as a dance performer because they wanted to do something different. They're like, we want a dance performer. So you'll just come on the stage. We won't even mic you up because you don't need to. And I was like, I've got a message to share. And so like a part of the practicing and the negotiation was that I would be mic'd. And I also, so for me, from one of the parts of what I do when I do keynotes is that I know people can only learn from a physical state for so long. The 20-minute mark, now it's becoming like the 16-minute mark, then people kind of like zone out unless you have like extra media to support you or great storytelling, just like next level skills. So I wanted to coach them into moving with me. And so the experience of it was, how do I connect with the audience? And what are the whole preparation of it was working with the tech team, because they thought it was going to be one thing, like the dancer, put the spotlight on, you do your thing, everyone's going to clap and you leave the stage. And I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm here to energize the audience. I'm here for them. And it's not even about me, it's for them. So, we had a whole setup where we had to like flip the lights. So typically when you're doing a TED talk, the lights are so bright on you, you don't actually get to see the audience. But
Mm.
for this one, I got them to dim the lights and turn on the lights onto the audience so people could actually they could be in the spotlight, which is what it's all about.
Wow.
It was really fun. And so the whole TEDx experience, it was the biggest stage that I've ever been on. Not the number of people, but just like the significance of it. And so even thinking about that playfulness and like just remembering being on the side of the stage, watching the person who's in front of me. I knew like, we had heard each other rehearse many times, like halfway through her thing, and my like armpits started sweating and like beads of sweat, and like your makeup, and you're just like, I was just like, well, here it's coming, and I was like, what if this was fun? Like, what if like right now I just like boogied down a little bit, and I just like I just do these like awkward or embarrassing things just to like remind myself it's not that serious. And when I can take these little things, these moments, and insert them into my life when those contractions, I would say, come in, when those like fear, whatever it is, just to kind of like shift the energy and show up and give the audience the best version of yourself. And I think that's what we all have to do as public speakers, is how can you bring in tools and strategies into your routine as you go onto the stage, as you get yourself prepared for Facebook Lives, as to bring out the best version of yourself and to show up in that energy, instead of like, oh my God, there's 3 minutes left, there's 2.5 minutes left, there's 2 minutes left, and then you're like, what's my first word again, what's my first sentence, what's my first thing, like just how we can, like, as the time comes, we can contract. For me, as the moment comes when you go live or when you step on that stage, it's like, how can you expand?
That's some golden nuggets right there. That's awesome. Thank you, Mel.
Thank
That's awesome.
you.
And I'm guessing this carries on, or this carries on to the rest of your life. This carries on to the way you deal with clients, and maybe getting onto like a sales call, for example, or getting onto. I feel like you might have a little dance before a sales call. Is that true or no?
I have dances all of the time. You know what? Yeah, but I don't know, wonder before sales. I know I always dance after. Like I dance like whenever I feel like something has been like exciting, energizing, but also stressful. Like, so one of the things we do a lot is we shake a lot. Like I bring a lot of shaking movements in my crowd energizers, because it's a great way to release stress. Like a dog who jumps into water that's cold comes out and like shakes off their whole body. They're taking the water off. Or like an animal that gets chased in nature. Like let's say there's a gazelle being chased by a lion and gets away. The gazelle's going to go somewhere and it's literally just going to like shake it off, because it shakes off any tension. So,
Mhm.
so I like to, whenever I find myself being in a situation that I perceive as stressful, then I literally like to shake it off, and
Mhm.
just do. It doesn't have to be like literally just like, it just like it's just like there's an element of fun and playfulness, but just like that energy shift and that state, the state that you are in, the energy, all of it has how your clients, how your audience receives you. You're going to have the most powerful message, but if your state when you're delivering it is not in the highest states or present state, I don't know that message can translate and land as effectively as when you're fully present there for the audience delivering that message.
Yeah, it gives you confidence. I mean, I think that's what
Mm.
it does. There's a sense of like a physical thing you could do to change your physiology to give you confidence. And what this ties into, and I really wanted to ask you, because me and Rachel went to a Tony Robbins event. What's it called again? Is it Unleash the Power Within? No,
Unleash the Power Within,
right?
UPW.
Yeah,
Hmm.
right. So
Oh
we
yeah.
went there, and like this is my first time going to a Tony Robbins event, and this was back in this was in 2019, pre-COVID, of course. Not anymore. That will never happen right now.
Totally.
But like I didn't expect, people to be dancing for 12 hours, or not dancing, but like jumping up in the air. And like, we're like this for like a good 10 minutes. And then we sat down and take notes. So were you actually inspired by this? Was this like, was like, where did this come from? Cause I know Tony's big on this, right? So,
Yeah, I definitely like, so I only went to my first UPW in 2018 in November. So like
wow.
I knew Tony was ridiculously talented and amazing. I watched a lot of his talks and like had his CDs, yes, CDs in
Yeah.
my car. It was like my like I think I like just had them in her car somewhere, and I just like I was like, ooh, CDs, where can I listen to this? Nowhere in our house can you listen to it. So I would have them in my car. I loved his content. I never knew how much he used the power of movement to shift people's states until I went to a UPW event. And I was just like, oh my gosh, why doesn't anyone talk about this being a skill? Like, I don't know that people realize how much that event trains you over 3 days to get into those higher states. And it was validation for what I had intuitively learned and kind of, being a school teacher, if you're in a classroom, like, when you move kids, when you get kids to move their bodies, they're going to learn better. They're going to be more alert. They're just going to, have less like conflicting social interactions. Like, it's just a natural thing that I had built a career off of, is bringing movement and play into schools. But yeah, going to Tony's event I was like, yes, every adult needs this. Yes, more events need to have this, like these energizers. And so I had always called myself an energizer, an
Mm.
event energizer, worked with conference organizers to say, what is your theme? I would always link my keynote or my 10-minute intro to their theme, and then I would energize the crowd linking in. So I speak while we move. I choose songs that link to the themes. I teach messages through movement. And so I use the power of movement to put people into that state so that they're also receiving the message that I'm giving in a completely different state than just sitting there. So there's two people when there's a speaker. There's the person delivering the message, there's the person receiving the message. So I like to get both people into the higher states. I just think that it just messages get communicated so much more powerfully. You like remember.
Wow. That's crazy. Because most public speakers, they just like, they stay in one place, and it's so funny, right? Like when you look at a good public talk, it's not really about the words they say. It's more or less like how you make them feel. Like when someone, like if you're public speaking, most of the time they're probably going to remember a few things that you said, but it's going to be a lot about how you made them feel. And I think
Mm-hmm.
you're just hitting it right on the nail, Mel, where you're just like confronting this like movement and this feel good place or within your body, and that energizes you, so they actually pay more attention. It's so basic, but we
So it's so
complicate it.
basic, seriously. And like listen, we're gonna talk real talk here. I'm like am I just being gimmicky? I'm like, is it just like a gimmicky thing that like I just like throw in movement and everyone thinks that but everyone remembers me. Like, so many people from Vancouver that I didn't even know were in that crowd in TEDx Stanley Park were like, you're that movement energy, you were that movement thing. That's what I remembered from the day. I remember, like, I was like, there's powerful speakers. Like, TEDx
Mm.
speakers are not just, and I was just like, out of the whole day, you remembered my little 5-minute thing. But that's the power of what you can create. Like, should every single person who's a public speaker make everyone dance and move? Like, I think so. No, but I mean, like, there's different ways that you can engage your crowd, and my way is movement. But there's other tools like questioning. There's just the design of what you're speaking should consider both people, not just what you're saying, but like, how is it being received? And as you're being coached, as you're designing, as you're doing your trial runs, having that feedback from the audience also is, I think, is critical. It's like, what's their experience?
Mhm.
How are they experiencing it?
So correct me if I'm wrong. So you have this playful energy, but then you also have this like serious, like entrepreneur, like
I'm
I'm
such a nerd.
I make it happen. You know, like
Yes.
I feel like you got that vibe of like, like,
I make it
like,
happen.
like
So
I feel like if someone got in your way, you're like, get the heck out of my way, right? So it's like it's you
thank
really
you. I appreciate that.
she appreciates that. See, like no, we're talking about playfulness. You're like, no, 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 that's me right there.
Oh, you know
So
what? That's the thing with like I for a long time, I did not like the word play because play is associated with kids. And as an adult, if you ask who's playful as an adult, in my world, I don't know if anyone thinks this, but like I default to like the interesting person who's got like interesting hair and they just like are a little too out there. Like I feel like, there's no so in play, like the company, my play company, our word and our culture building like motto is we want to be professionally playful. And professional is the first word. So like how can we show up professionally like and still bring in the element of play, but it's not like the play is the thing that trumps everything else. It's like how can we be playful in this professional setting? How can we show up professionally for our clients, responsibly and also have fun and be fun. So it doesn't it's not like you were saying, it's so simple. It's like the little simple things that we overlook can make a massive difference. Like every single client that Justin and I coach and Impact Entrepreneurs, we start every coaching session with a 30-second dance party. We just put music on. And they know when they sign on to Zoom, we're like, what's up? How are you? Do you have a request? Or sometimes we just pick the song. We're like, we're dancing to this song. Or like, get up. It's on Zoom. Everyone feels awkward. Like most of our clients are not dancers, but like they just start to get into it. They know that we're just going to start by just changing our state, being a little bit playful, sitting down, and then we just have like a regular coaching session. But those are the elements that you can bring in, like what's fun for you and how can you share your fun with your clients.
Yeah, and the word that comes to my mind is what's called an edutainer. I don't know if you've ever heard of that word before,
Yeah.
but it's someone who can educate and someone who can entertain.
Mm.
And essentially that's what you're doing is you're combining the both. I'm sure you've had a lot of professors who are very boring and put you to sleep, but I'm sure you also had some fun professors or fun teachers, right? And I think that's what you're really tapping into is this edutainer within you. Because
Mm.
because when you get up there, you're like, I know what I'm talking about is really good stuff. And
Mm.
at the same time, for me to actually penetrate, in their head and really get it to stick, I can't get them sitting down because they just heard all these other people talk or whatever the case is. So I think
Totally.
I think is the foundation, right, Mel? Is
Yep.
you're having both because the content will actually stick better in their head. Whereas a lot of public
Totally.
speakers, they're like, I have to say exactly word for word, and if I stutter, if I mess up, like I mess up all the time on the summit, and I'm sure it's going to be watched and watched again, but that's not the point.
Totally.
That's not the point.
No.
And I think you have it down packed.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
yeah,
I love it. I love the imperfection of it because I think it's perfect. And for me, every single time I have ever watched someone stumble, forget their words, and recover or acknowledge, just be real about it, I have such a connection with that speaker. I'm just like, when you can like recognize, you're just like, well, forgot my words, just 1 second. Oh yeah, okay, now we're good. And you're gonna keep going. I'm like, that person was awesome.
Mm,
Whereas the ones who like you can see when someone doesn't have that playfulness or they take it so seriously that as soon as they do something that they perceive as not perfect, then it's like I actually feel like I can see it. I feel the inner turmoil, the like tornado that as it goes on, they're just like going down this like circle of like, you're like, get out, no, just like it's all good, we're okay, it like so yeah. And I think that you've spoken about the authenticity aspect of it. Just be yourself, be real about your experience with your audience. And
mhm,
that in itself, the playfulness, approach it through that playful lens.
mhm,
Because when you're playful, you're authentic to you, and
mhm.
people connect to your authenticity beyond anything else.
Yeah, and I'm gonna save a lot more for the next interview. So if you haven't upgraded yet, be sure to upgrade because we're gonna go a lot more in
Ooh.
depth in the all access pass, where we're gonna actually dig deep into like building clarity on what you do in life and why that's extremely important. Because yes, we understand if you're playful and you don't know what you're talking about, I don't want to say any bad words, but yes, you look like you have no idea what you're talking about. The
Yeah.
reason why, and you can even add to this, Mel, is the reason why you can be playful and have the confidence because you know your stuff, because you're very clear on it. So if you want to touch on that really quick and why that's really important when you're bringing the playful energy.
Oh,
Right
I'm just like,
on
oh,
the
it's
nail,
like
right on the
so
nail,
good.
right on
It
the
was so good.
nail.
I just needed a moment there. I was like, oh, so good. Because that's exactly what it is that there is a certain, I think when you're public speaking, whether this is like my own conditioning about it, but you have a responsibility to be clear on your message and to know your stuff inside out. Don't go out there and fake it till you make it. Like, I don't believe in the fake it till you make it. I'm just like, find your message and like align your message, be so clear about what that purposeful messages that you have to share, that you're not thinking about the message. You're just practicing being your best version of yourself for what that room needs in that moment, for what that audience needs in that moment, for what you're feeling into, whether it's a Facebook Live, some people do this without an audience. It's like a perceived audience, but I still think that you can energetically tap into what's happening in that moment. And being able to tap into the needs of your audience comes when you are so clear and so confident in your message, when you know your craft, and you're not there for the craft, you're there for the people. That's the thing with public speaking. It's actually not about your craft, it's about them receiving it. So your job, especially in those moments, in those live things, is like being present. And how do you get yourself in that open space to serve them?
And we'll be talking about that in the next interview, where we're gonna combine the playful energy and then the clarity, because when you really combine the both, I really believe like that's where you're unstoppable. I know for myself, when I did door to door, when I was serious knocking on a door compared to when I was like just playful Dan, like I don't like it doesn't really matter. You actually become so much more successful. And I think, and you can even add to this before we actually wrap up on the interview, when you have that playful energy and that clarity, days just kind of fly by. Like because you're just living in your purpose. So I don't know if you want to add to that, but I think this is really what we're getting at and why it's so important of public speaking, building a business, building a professional life, building relationships. The combination of both is really how you win in life.
Absolutely. Listen, there's three things that I think put us in a state of total presence. When we're in creativity mode, when like the time is lost, when you're in love, like when you're like, what, it's Tuesday? Like I thought we just like went on a date on, just like you like lose hours. And when you're playing, like remember back being a kid, being at the playground, being so immersed in like a game and imagination to play with your friends, and also your mom's like dinner time back in the 80s and 90s, before there was like when we were still allowed to play at playgrounds and people called in neighborhoods. But you'd be like, what, it's dinner time, I just had lunch, because you're so in it. And like what a gift you could give to your own life is to live your life that way, like so in it. You're experiencing so many aspects of it that you're not worried about any particular outcome. And with speaking, with anything in life, it's just like not taking it so seriously and showing up as that best version of yourself really does make life richer in all senses.
You heard it first. Melanie, all the way from Whistler, BC. So see that was playful, right? Like that was,
I love it. Wait, you don't finish all the things like that?
I do actually. It's just I'm being playful. I'm taking your advice.
I love it.
So thank you, Mel. Appreciate it. This has been awesome. Again, for everyone, if you haven't upgraded, you will see more of Melanie's dancing in the second video as well. That will be, she's going.
So
it
has to be big, just this.
Thank you so much. Again, my name is Daniel Francis, the host of the 30-Day Speaker Summit, and we will see you in the next interview. Mel, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate where you're at. And do you want to leave a last line for the audience before we jump off?
Plato said it best. Life is meant to be lived as play, through play.
Boom. We will see you in the next interview. Take care. Bye.